All right, we're going to put the car on the dyno and get a baseline run. It's got 520 miles. It's completely stock. There's no changes at all except the oil change. So we can get a true baseline and then see if the exhaust actually makes power. Couple of small changes we're making. These are the clamps that supply, and it holds pretty much every part of it together. Everything is like a slip joint. Well, as you look through the grill here, a lot of those clamps you can see. We're going to rotate some of those to get them out of line of sight, like that one there, and this one will rotate back. But the ones on the tips here, we're going to actually weld those on with just a couple of short welds, just so as you look through here, you don't see that clamp because it's not really a very good looking piece. So we still have the function of the exhaust valves, but now we have a check engine light, which is something they talk about. So the system needs to do a relearn. You can either do this at your dealer, or if you have a scan tool, you can do it in your shop or the shop that installs it. I'm going to pull our scan tool out. All right, so now we should be clear. We did the relearn. Check engine light's off, and again, like I said in the earlier video, a short drive will turn the stability control and ABS and all those functions, as soon as you go down the road, they will turn off. Back on the dyno, we're going to let this come up to temperature, and we'll do the same thing. We'll do 3 pulls, get an average of 3, and see actually what happens, if it makes any power. Definitely sounds better, looks better, the tips are so much nicer, but does it make power? All right, we're up to temperature. We're going to put it in 5th gear and do a run. So I get a sound clip right here. So you're definitely getting a sound improvement and a looks improvement. Those tips look so much better than the square ones. Of course, you're getting about a 20-pound weight drop too. And looking through the back, it definitely looks cooler back there. Still in tour mode, a little bit more throttle. Still really mellow sounding. What's nice is it doesn't drone at all, which is something Corsa is famous for, is their unique muffler. Most systems I've dealt with, you're always fighting a droning problem at some RPM. It's usually low RPM, under a little bit of load, and this doesn't drone at all. So it's something, if you're interested in it being a real street car and not dealing with all those different deep tones and different annoyances, this is probably the system to go with. So you've seen these cars, they have Z mode, which is basically just a customizable button. You hit that, and I've got the valves to open, so you'll hear those valves open right away. So you'd hear a difference in tone now. Now those valves are open, so I've got Z mode to tighten up the suspension, make the exhaust into full volume, and you can hear that difference now, even just cruising around nice and easy. But again, it's not obnoxious. It does have a few pops on the decel, which is kind of cool. It's not a crackle by any means, but just factory pops are kind of nice. One thing's annoying is the signals on this car. The signal is probably the loudest thing on the car. So still in sport mode right now. I'm going to slow it down and just let it go through the gears automatically. Let me get on this straight right here. Drop it down to a lower gear. So just driving around nice and easy. It's got a fantastic sound to it. It sounds like a muscle car, but not way deep. Well, the beauty of dropping it down to tour is once you're done, you can kind of blend in again. And if you're making calls, if you're using hands-free, it's not overwhelming. You can still hear who you're talking to and still drive the car and not draw a lot of attention to yourself. But it still sounds good. Back around here in tour mode, so medium throttle. It sounds about the same as stock. It's amazing how quiet they have it with those mufflers. And again, no drone, no deep tones, no annoying resonance. Back in sport, again, just light throttle, letting it shift itself. But even at all the RPMs, there's no drone. I let it go through the RPM so you can see exactly where it is. Usually 1500, 2000, you'd get that really annoying drone. That's in sport. That's the valves open. Again, very mellow. You could actually drive this every day in sport and not be too annoyed with the car. Okay, so a quick update. The Relearn feature is not able to be done with a scan tool. We have an Autel, and calling around and even talking to some of the exhaust manufacturers, you cannot do this yourself, even if you have the scan tool in your shop. It has to be done at the GM dealer. There is a specific GM tool to do this, so keep that in mind. If you're looking at buying anybody's exhaust, I'd consider reaching out to your local dealer first. Just make sure this is something they will do and they're comfortable doing for you. All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the content. If you did, don't forget, hit the subscribe, hit the like. Huge thanks to Corsa for getting this exhaust to us super fast. The quality is great, the fitment is perfect, and the fact that it keeps your adjustability for the NPP is perfect. The tips are so much better than the square tips, and the sound is good too. So see you in the next video. Don't forget, enjoy your cars.